see all of you that are here this morning. Sister Francis has a lot of family here. We're glad to see them.
Amen.
Of course, Paris has one of her daughters here. Good to see them.
Amen.
Roman's back. Roman's looking good, man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Looking good. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Proud of you. Proud of you. And I want to personally thank Sister Smith for coming over the video last Sunday and being with us at her age. She's still out coming to be with us, so we appreciate her for that. That being said, we're going to start a new series today talking about what is God looking for in me. One of the problems we have is we have a problem with what God is looking for and what people are looking for. And that can be two different things. So our text is a very familiar text. It's Luke chapter 19, beginning verse number 1. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. He tried to look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowd. We're going to deal with that later on. The Lord says the same. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, "Quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly came down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the people were displeased. He has gone to be with the guest of a notorious sinner. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "I will give half my wealth to the poor. Lord, if I cheated people on their taxes, I will give them back 4 times as much." Jesus responded, "Salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save those who are lost." What we need to understand is that our perception of God is deeply rooted in our personal experiences in childhood. If we have a distant or father or parents, we see God as a distant God. If we had critical parents, then we see God as being critical. And that's what happened with these folk when they saw Zacchaeus and Jesus going to his house. Their relationship with God was so different than what you expect it to be, and we project on other folk how we feel. If you have a loving and supporting parents, generally you see God as a loving and supporting God. If you had forgiving parents, you generally see God as a forgiving God. And as we go through our life as Christians and non-Christians, we struggle with perceptions of what a child of God looks like. How many times have people done things and you've heard somebody say, "Well, I thought they were a Christian"? We struggle with what a Christian really, a child of God really looks like. When we see somebody smoking or drinking, we perceive that they really don't belong to God because that's our perception. And so it sets up this internal struggle within us as to what God is really looking for in us. Because we take people's perceptions and we say, well, that must be what God is looking for in me. But the truth is, all of us are broken.
Amen.
We just learn to cope and to hide it better. So when we look at verse 10, it's a very interesting verse 10 because it says, "The Son of Man came to seek and to save those who are lost." So God is looking for folk that are lost. Now, the problem with the Greek, and I don't refer to it much, but the problem with the Greek is, and the English in this particular case, is the word lost in English is not as severe as it is in the Greek. How many of us have lost our keys?
Yes.
It's not life there. How many of us have lost a wallet? Cell phone. So lost really doesn't mean that much in our language. But this word comes from a little Greek word, apolony. And apolony means utterly lost, utterly devastated, utterly ruined, beyond repair. So when you come to that, so if you read it as it was literally written, so the Son of Man came to seek and to save those who are ruined, devastated, broken, beyond repair. When you understand that I am not what folks see me as, it is a facade. You begin to understand God is looking for me as I am. But he doesn't want to leave me as I am. Because the world has told me I'm not worth saving. If I do anything that's contrary to what the Word of God says is, I am not what I say I am. That's not what God is looking for. It took me a long time in my Christian walk to come to a place of understanding that the fact that I am broken beyond repair is not the bad news. It's actually good news. It's actually good news because what it makes you understand is all of us have the Gladys Knight and the Pip syndrome.
Amen.
I don't want to do wrong. But sometimes I just can't help myself. And your wrong may be different from my wrong. And I'm not condoning wrong, but we have a propensity to sin. Let's be honest. And the thing is, we look at action. God looks at fault. That's why we pray sometimes, if I've sinned in thought or deed. Because living to God's standard is so high, you can even sin by the way you think.
All right.
And the problem is many of us, if not all of us, have had some traumatic experiences early in our lives as children. But as a child, it's major. It's minor. But as a child, it's major. But maybe it was the death of somebody you loved, and it changed the whole course of your life. Maybe it was a parent walking away, never to be heard from again. Maybe it was a financial setback that devastated your family and you never overcame it. Maybe it was abusive treatment in so many other ways, physically, psychologically, emotionally. Maybe you were abused, and all of us go through stuff. And as kids, we have to find a way to cope. Mine was watching my mother and my father pour their lives out for the church, only to be treated like anything but a Christian. By church folk. I want to show you how cruel. And if you don't think that affected me as a little boy, watching folk be abusive to my parents, my father passed. When my father passed, I was an adult by then. But to show you how cruel people can be, a few months after my father passed, they returned another minister. One of the brothers had the audacity to come to our mom's house and ask her when she was moving out so the new pastor could move in. A house that my dad paid for, out of his pocket. So if you don't think, if it were not for my relationship with God, let's just talk this morning. If it was not for my relationship with God, your Church of Christ home could go.
Yes.
But because my parents taught me to know God.
Right.
And I was not depending on the church for my relationship. And I looked at the fact that my parents were loving parents. They were forgiving parents. I discovered that my God was a loving God and a forgiving God. I began to understand that I can't blame God for what folk do. But so all of us cope. But some of us cope. We find a way to go. Some of us put a mask on, a place to hide. Sometimes we do it through a career. We put all of our, we want to be the CEO in 2 weeks. We put all of our energy, and there's nothing wrong with succeeding in life, but we're trying to cope by being somebody on the job. Yeah. We want to be somebody by accumulating as much as we can accumulate. And I've learned that some folks try to cope by being super Christians. Christians. They found the perfect place to hide. Christianity. I'm so holy. I don't walk into the church, I'm floating. We cope by being super Christians. Everything somebody else does, we don't understand because we're so holy that we can't identify with that. And it's a good place to hide. The reason I say it's a good place to hide, Al, is because who's going to tell you, come on, you and I need to talk. You need to put that Bible down, we're going to have an interview. Who's going to tell you that? That's probably not going to happen. But sometimes you need to tell folk, you need to let folk know you're hiding behind the Bible. Amen. You're using the Bible to make yourself be what you are not. But God is the only one that really knows what's going on inside. Some of us have determined that we would become the perfect Christian, a man, or woman, even if it kills us. I want to be the perfect Christian and eventually get healed. If it does not kill you physically, it will kill you spiritually and emotionally. Because you're trying to give God something that he is not looking for. Very often it kills our influence. It kills our relationships because we become hypocritical and hypocritical. When you find folk that are hypocritical, they criticize everything, it is because of their shortcomings. And they become hypocritical. They struggle with you because they are struggling with themselves. When you know you have not done anything to anybody, but yet they are always on your back, you are not the problem.
Well, yeah.
The problem is projected onto you. And so what we find out, we're Christians and we really want to show God that we're giving him our lives, but inside, nothing has changed. We're the same scared, insecure child, determined not to let God and other people get close enough to see us as we really are.
I hear you.
And to everyone else. To everyone else. That's why, I know y'all say, but I preach this kind of awesome. But to everybody else, we want you to act like a thing. We got all our ducks in a row. I do not have all my ducks in a row because I don't even know where all my ducks are. But I'm working on it. But one of the things I love about the fervent, outrageous, merciful love of God is that he is committed to pursuing us into a real relationship, not just pretending. God will pursue you when he loves you until you realize it doesn't matter what you do, I'm still you. Now God's that way, but don't try that at home. He wants us to really acknowledge who we are and who he is. If we had a choice in how God redirected our lives, we would have probably told him, God, I need you to take my fears away. I don't want to hurt. I've been hurt enough. But instead, what God sometimes does is he allows the very things we fear to happen. But the beauty of it is, when it happens, I learn, I survive. The very thing we learn, I really don't want to lose this job. You lose it, but you survive. I really don't want him or her to walk away. They do, but you survive. I don't want my loved one to die, but they do. You survive. I don't want to go through hell in the church, but you do. And you survive. But he does this to show us the truth of this text. Who then will condemn us? No one, for Christ Jesus died for us and was raised to life for us. And he is sitting in the place of honor of God's right hand for us. Now watch what he starts out. This is interesting. The King James says, who can separate us from the love of God? That's the way King James reads. Who can separate us from the love of God? But watch how he transitions from a who to a what. Because who's do what to you? All right. things don't just happen. People inflict pain. And I'm talking about this because we're in a state in the church now where there is chaos everywhere you go.
Amen.
We're a bunch of angry, upset, folk that don't know how to love God or each other.
All right, man. All right. All right.
That's why I stress here in Frank Street. Let's learn how to love folk. Let's stop being so abusive. Whatever you've been through, can anything separate us from Christ's love? Does it mean he no longer loves us if we have trouble or calamity, or are persecuted, or hungry, or destitute, or in danger, or threatened in life? None of those things mean God doesn't love you. That's just the circumstances of life. But we got this idea of God being a Santa Claus. He gives me what I want, when I want.
All right.
God, in his infinite wisdom, will eventually place every one of us in a position where we have to answer the question. Who are you? God will put you in a situation and deal with you long enough that he's literally saying, who are you?
All right.
Who are you? And he's not talking about, well, you know, I'm Payne, I'm Waylon's husband. That's not what he's talking about. I work here. This is my position on my job. That's not who you are. That's what you do.
All right.
So many folk confuse who they are with what they do. Who are you inside? Who are you? What makes you tick? What I'm looking for you is the essence of you and getting you to understand that everything you've been through, I knew you were going to go through it, and I'm still here. So what's the problem? What's your problem? You worry about people, you worry about everything, but when are you going to understand? It's about us. I knew you at your worst, and I'm still here. So why are you worried about what folk? Not your name, not what your job title is, but do you know who you are? And most of us, for most of us, the definitive answer would really be, I don't know. We know who we want to be seen as. We know who society tells us we should be. We know what the church expects us to be. But yet we still don't really know who we are. And that's what happens when we did not taught who the relationship with God is. For so long, we have talked about our relationship with the church ought to be. But the problem is that the church is a bunch of messed up folk. So I need to learn what my relationship is with Christ.
All right.
So I can deal
with the messed up.
And once I learn what my relationship with Christ is, all this up, that's why y'all still see me here. I told my daddy at one point, you heard me say it before, when my dad said, I'm preparing you to be a preacher, I said, Daddy, after I see what you all going through, ain't no way.
All right.
Ain't no way. I tell you, I told him I will always be committed to the church in some way. As far as being in the pulpit, I will never do it because that's the quickest way to go to hell, preaching the church of Christ. Because of what I have watched. And we don't realize what we do to people. I'm not mad. But we don't realize what we do to people.
All right.
My mom was in Walmart, a store in there, Mount Pleasant, Miami. And this young lady walked up to her. And she was a beautician. And Mom didn't know any of this when she began to talk. And she said, "Sister Payne, good to see you. You know what? I haven't seen you in years. I would love to start doing your hair. Can I do that for you? I just want to do it for you." And Mom said, "Yeah, that's good, but I don't remember you." She said, "Well, when I was a little girl, I used to go to church with you and Brother Payne. And then I watched." So Mom said, "Well, why don't you go to church anymore?" She said, "Well, I watched how they treated you and how they treated Brother Payne. And if you all had that much to offer and they mistreated you, I have nothing to offer. So how am I going to be treated?" See, we don't realize how we are, and then we wonder why nobody's coming to church. Why? Why? We murmur, complain, murmur.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever right.
Yeah.
He got to say
something every now and then. So the first year, at the end of the first year, he got to say something. He said the food cold. Another year, he got to say something. He said the bed's hard. Third year, he said air conditioning doesn't work. Fourth year, he said I quit. God says you might as well, all you do is complain. You know, no matter what your circumstances are, when you get into this team, nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said it was, and I'm going to tell you something. Let me tell you something. And I'm not a money preacher. Y'all know I will give back more than and I'm not saying that to boast. But y'all don't pay folk enough to go through the hell folk have to go through. Yes, sir. It ain't that much money for them. And I'm trying to help us because what I want us to understand is until we understand what God is looking for in us, the church is going to constantly die and it's going to constantly God is God. From personal experience, I've discovered that God sometimes will take you to a prison to set you free. All right. And some of God's most precious gifts come in boxes that will make our hearts bleed when we open them. But inside is what we've been longing for all of our lives. A relationship with God based on nothing that I bring to the table. A relationship in which my worth and who I am is defined by God, not myself and others. So let me ask you a question. If we walked in today, when we walked in today, instead of my sermon being on, what if we had 60 or 70 screens up here, and every person that walked in, your life was on that screen? From the moment you were born to this current moment, or from the moment you were born to the moment you died. Isn't that a scary moment?
Yes, it is.
So we can't play games with God and hide. The beauty of it is God knows everything about you, and He still loves you. He still died for you. So why are you scared of folk? God can play that movie over and over, and as a matter of fact, He knows what you're going to do before you do. So why are we trying to be so abusive to other folk? Because we saw a glimpse of their life when they were not at their best. And God has seen your whole life when you were not at your best. There are things that you've never actually done. So you don't consider them sin because you just thought about them and never did. But that's sin. But what if even your thoughts were up on that screen? How would you feel? Because the radical truth of the gospel is that God has seen your movie and He still loves you.
Amen.
And when He runs the credit, if you live faithfully as you can, He'll say, well done.
Amen.
That's all right. There's absolutely nothing about you. The darkest, shadowy places. There's nothing that God does not already know. And nothing that He has not already paid for. And He wants to welcome you to come into the light and be known. Let me give you this last thing. Paul, the Apostle Paul, says it beautifully. The thing that blessed me most is I like to study Bible characters. And we see them as these bigger than life figures. But when you read about Abraham, the father of the faith, lying about who his wife was, his wife giving him another woman to have a baby by. You don't have to watch All My Children to get this stuff. It's in your Bible. And then Abimelech takes Abraham's wife because Abraham lied. And you would think God would get on Abraham and got on the Abimelech. That's another sermon of earth party. You got to understand, when God chooses you, he knows everything about you, but he chooses you because he loves you. And there's nothing you can do that's going to make him turn. You have to turn your back on him.
Yeah.
If you're lost, it's because you turn your back on him. So stop trying to fake it straight and make folks think you is what you ain't. He says, once I was a blasphemer and a persecutor and a violent man. Orders from the Jewish synagogue, Pharisees and Sadducees, to hunt Christians down and imprison them. Now, it does not say he killed any, but he was party to them being killed. Now, if God can accept him, how many folk can you? That's the kind of God. When God pursues you, he pursues you because he sees your potential, not your past. Right. Too many of us are living in the past, not living up to our potential because we're worried about other folk. And then he says, I was shown mercy because I acted in ignorance and unbelief. Now, here's the word we need to understand. The grace of our Lord was poured out on me abundantly. The key to it is, when God pours out his grace, then we need to either grow in grace or become a disgrace. When God is gracious to me, I need to learn to be gracious to other folks. If I don't learn to be gracious to other folks, then I will become a disgrace. Let me show you this. You remember when Bill Clinton did what he did? I'm not condoning it, but you remember what he did in the White House? We all know.
Yeah.
All those self-righteous folk tried to indict him, and I'm not saying he was right. But just about every leader that attacked him, you ended up finding out they had concubines. They were homosexuals. Closet homosexuals. You can't pull the cover off somebody else.
That's right.
Without uncovering yourself. So the best thing you can do is live your life the best you can and stop worrying about what other folk are doing, talking about what other folk are doing, because God says some things, the Bible says some things folk do, it's a shame to even talk about. Amen. You knew, Sister Wood, bless her soul, I can tell it because I told her. She was, one day I went to visit her, she had the radio on. And she died laughing when I got through. I said, they call out a code. She said, Brother Payne, that's this. They call another code. That's this. That's that. That's what that code means. I smiled. I said, Sister Woods, if you knew your scriptures like you knew that scared, I just I said, you got it, Brother Payne.
That's all right.
But the grace of our Lord was poured out on me abundantly. God doesn't just do it. He showers us with it. Every day you get up, it's a new day of grace.
Amen.
It's a new day of mercy.
Yes.
Yet we'll get up every day trying to see who we can kill and who we can and along with the faith and love that are in Christ Jesus. Simply put, Paul says, here's a trustworthy saying that deserves full acceptance. Jesus came into the world, Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst.
Right.
Paul recognized. Now Paul said, I want you to notice that. Of whom did he say I was?
He said, I am.
That's current tense.
That's right.
He said, but by the grace of God, I'm still what I am. But God's mercy and his grace has cleaned me up.
That's right.
Some of us want to use that I used to.
Yeah.
Well, you can't undo a used to. Christ Jesus might display his immense patience as an example for those who would believe in him and receive eternal life.
Yeah.
So to tell the truth, simply, and that's what we'll deal with next week, of course. It says living. What Jesus is looking for me mess up. I messed up. But I'm going to tell the truth about it.
Amen.
I'm a son saved by God's grace, therefore growing in grace, so that I do not become. Beloved, that is who you all really are.
Yeah.
You're a sinner saved by grace. And not some super saint, I don't care how much you preach or how long you preach. You're still a sinner saved by grace. Stop trying to hide by being, trying to be what you are not. Do better. I'm not saying don't do better, but stop trying to put on all these super fronts about how tough you are. You don't have any problems. And I tell you what, since I found Jesus, I just don't have any problems at all. But the Bible says, those that live godly shall suffer. And I've discovered that you suffer it from church folks. As I asked Elder Weeks to extend the invitation, I want to help you extend the invitation. As I get ready to leave, if that's okay with you. What I have discovered is that if you do some research, do you know how rapidly the church is moving? That the congregations that have been looking for preachers for years cannot find. You know why? Because people, ministers, are tired of the church's mess. There are folk that leave our assembly because they're tired.
Yeah.
The story now, if you become. I was talking to a young man at work. He didn't realize he told me something. But it clicked when he said it. He wasn't telling me for that, but it clicked when he told me. He said he was, matter of fact, Richard used to come here off and on, Richard Edwards. Used to come over here quite often, off and on. But he said when he was a young boy, about a teenager, his dad had coon dogs. Well, you could only hunt coons certain times.
Yeah.
But every week, he would make him get up in the middle of the night and take those coon dogs out. And he said, finally one time, he said, Dad, this makes no sense whatsoever. We can treat a coon, but we can't catch him, we can't shoot him. Why are you making me take these dogs out once a week, every week, even when it's not coon season?
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to tell you why, son. Because if they don't do what they're trained to do, they'll turn on each other. All right. The problem with the church is we're not doing what we're supposed to do. So we're turning. Now, come on, give us a don't you
Well, powerful lesson today. We thank God for the message today. How many were blessed today from hearing the message? And the question is, before we close today, the person that God wants you to be. Are you going to tell the truth? This is a time we offer to confessions for someone to say, you know what, that sermon impacted me. I'm going to stand and say, I confess. I haven't been telling the truth. And when you do that, that releases you from all the pressure, from Satan being on your back, and you're free. We come to the church house to be free. That's why we come here. I've been told you're supposed to leave your junk in the trunk before you walk in the church house. How many people left their junk in the trunk this morning before you walked in? And so when you leave your junk in the trunk, you're free to accept God's word and be fueled by it and walk away a different person than you were when you came in. And so this is a great opportunity. And so right now, while I'm talking, encouraging you, saying, don't do it now. You got time. You got more time. It's one of the greatest lies ever told, that you got more time. Because some of us may not get past this Labor Day weekend.
Amen.
Amen. Did you see the news this morning?
Yeah.
Deaths in Midland, 5 people were killed, 21 people injured. You can be walking in the mall, down the street, anywhere. You can get shot at Walmart today. And letting you know you got to be ready. God can simply say, tell the truth. All I got to do this morning is, God, I haven't been the person that you really want me to be. Because just like Brother Payne said, if you don't live that way, we spend all of our time fighting each other. Instead of fighting Satan. We'll be fighting the church inside and destroying ourselves
while Satan is around.
Amen.
As I close, one thing I can say about Satan, he's at every worship.
Yes, he is. Oh, yes, sir.
Revelation says he's got a seat in the church house.
Amen.
He's here at every sermon. Listen out, looking to see who's paying attention, and who's texting, and who's dreaming, and who's thinking about the food. So he already know. Those you don't have to worry about it because you're not even paying attention. And he's at every worship right now. And he's here today in the church, looking and listening and saying who he may devour. And I'm asking you to be ready to give yourself to God and just say, God, I'm not ready. I haven't been the person I should have been, but I want to be a better person today. That's what God requires of us. So we're going to sing a song. We're going to stand. We're going to give you an opportunity to make confession to God as we sing this morning a song. Give not to